I would like to introduce Cheryl de Cordova. She will be introducing Mrs. Abbott. So get excited!
Thank you, Tracy. Well, I'm really here on behalf of Teresa Darby. She sends her sincere and deepest regrets that she could not be here, but she's had something major happen in her life. 2 days ago, in fact, she's been with back trouble for 3 weeks, and 2 days ago, she found out that she has a herniated disc on her lower back. It's like 2 centimeters. So she will be facing surgery next week. So, and she's at the doctor today at noon, so please keep her in your prayers and thoughts. And hopefully she's real excited about this doctor, and she will be well. She does send her regrets that she couldn't be here because, you know, Teresa, she loves Miss Abbott. And so she sent me some words to say to introduce our special guest. It is always a pleasure to introduce someone, especially if they are a friend. And in doing so, I don't typically read their bio. However, this bio is so incredible and accomplished, I didn't want to leave anything out. So please listen as I read a bit from it. Cecilia Abbott has devoted her life to serving others. She was a teacher, vice principal, and then a principal at several schools across Texas. She has also served as an advocate on health care for senior citizens. Since 2004, she has been the Managing Director of Community Relations at Hardin Healthcare, a network of senior health care facilities and services. Cecilia is a product of the American dream. The granddaughter of immigrants from Mexico, she was reared in San Antonio by her parents, who were both educators. Her parents instilled in her and her siblings the power of education. Cecilia took the lesson to heart and went on to study at the University of Texas, and then earned 3 degrees from the University of St. Thomas in Houston, a bachelor's degree in psychology, a master's degree in education, and a master's degree in theology. Cecilia believes in giving back to the community and is on numerous boards, advisory boards, and is a member of several nonprofit organizations. She's a prolific animal lover, having nurtured numerous dogs and a variety of pets, including a goat named Petunia. And she's a classical music devotee, having begun piano training at the age of 6. Her piano talent came in handy when she was moved into the custodian's dorm at UT and serenaded her future husband from behind the keyboard with the likes of some music he had never heard. It is obviously because she and her husband, Greg Abbott, have been making beautiful music together for 33 years and have one gorgeous daughter, Audrey. Now, what does all this mean to you and me? It means she is caring, having devoted her life to the care of the most vulnerable citizens, our young and our elderly. She is hardworking and proved that the American dream is attainable with effort and determination. She is giving by helping others through her many hours of volunteer work in the community. She is compassionate through her aid to a variety of animals. She is strong, as seen in the care and loving, tireless support of her husband during his time of need and today as a wife of a politician. And she has a great sense of humor. Anyone that has a teenage daughter knows that you must have a sense of humor to survive the drama and moods that often accompany even the best of teenagers. To sum it all up, she is the real deal. She's one of us. So without further ado, it is my esteemed honor, and I'm so very excited to introduce to you my friend and yours, our next First Lady of Texas, Cecilia Abbott.
Wonderful to be back here in San Angelo. And I think most of you know that my husband will be here next week. And so we're just very, very happy with the love and support that we feel here in San Angelo, especially coming from a place like Travis County. So anyway, thank you so much. I have to tell you, we're in the last stretch of this campaign, and we're talking about just around 294 hours and 45 minutes But anyway, I have to tell you, when Greg's campaign first asked me to speak, I said no. And I said so because I am so uncomfortable speaking in front of people. But then, you know, I started to think about this. My birthday's coming up in November, and then Christmas in December. And I think I'm going to hold this over Greg's head. So I said yes, and I'll speak as often as you'd like. But I'm here today to give you a more personal perspective on a man you already know a little something about. And let me start by telling you what's shaped that perspective. I was born into a strong, loving Hispanic family in San Antonio, as was mentioned, where we learned the importance of faith, of family, and of education. Both my parents were educators, and we really admired we admired people in our community who served others. Our doctors and our nurses who cared for us, our elected officials who served our community, and teachers who inspired students like me. Well, I decided to follow that inspiration and become a teacher myself. And I began that path in August of 1978, where I showed up at the University of Texas with a couple of suitcases and a plan to make my mark. But I have to tell you, my very traditional parents were not very happy about the thought of their precious daughter living in a co-ed dorm. But they soon got over that after meeting my friends, and one of them was a boy from Duncanville named Greg. And he had that twinkle in his eye, that beautiful smile that he has, and he always carried a football under his arm, and he showed up a lot more often than my other friends, and I didn't mind a bit. So we were friends first, and I knew my parents would love him for his sense of humor. And they appreciated the way that he treated me as a friend first and as a boyfriend later. Even back then in college, he was so responsible for a college student, and he showed incredible respect to my parents. He was also very traditional in his own values. My father was quite impressed when Greg asked for my hand in marriage. And then his impeccable sense of timing showed itself when he asked me to marry him on Valentine's Day. So we married just a week before Greg started law school. So our honeymoon was basically a week-long road trip in our white Datsun B210 that we named Cloud. After Greg finished law school, we headed to Houston where he would prepare for the bar exam, and so that we could pursue our dreams. Well, a week before his big test, I received some devastating news. And that was that my athletic husband had been paralyzed by a falling tree in the course of his daily jog. Well, this accident changed our lives forever, but it also started a chain reaction of many, many blessings. So as Greg recovered, we would hit a big obstacle, get discouraged, and then out of nowhere a solution would show up. And on top of that, we enjoyed wave after wave of visitors who showered us with their love and their support. Recovery from a trauma like this is a series of little milestones and of little blessings. But we kept moving forward carried by our faith in God, our love for one another, and Greg's unbreakable spirit. He was mentally tough before this accident, but he took that toughness to a level that I never even thought possible. He was so devoted to moving forward that even when he returned to work, he was still wearing his body cast. So when Greg went back to work, I was able to return to school, and I got my degree and began to fulfill my goal of teaching the next generation. And as Greg started spending more time in the courtroom, there were nights that he would come home feeling very frustrated. You see, Greg had worked tirelessly to get ready for his cases. And in his mind, his clients deserved his very best effort. But from time to time, he would run into those judges who didn't go that extra mile in their preparation, and that made him mad. So, with the support of his friends, of his co-workers, of his family, he decided to run for judge in Harris County, and that is where we learned about life on the campaign trail. To be honest, I was happiest behind the scenes, and I still am. So, but if only you can imagine this, if only you could have seen me back then at the polling places. I was so shy, I would practically hide from voters, working up that courage to ask them that one question with, with his brochures, You wouldn't want to vote for my husband, would you? So convincing was not a word that would describe me back then. So I was overjoyed when he won, mostly because I could stop hanging around grocery store parking lots and polling places, and that I could get back to teaching again. And as always, Greg threw himself in his role as a judge and quickly developed a reputation for his strong grasp of the law and his unfailing commitment to fairness. Well, word gets around on a guy like that, and it wasn't long before then Governor Bush decided to appoint him to the Texas Supreme Court. Well, moving to Austin, well, God bless you, moving to Austin was a tough call. I had just worked my way up as principal of a school in Houston, and so Greg commuted for a while. But as blessings would have it, I was able then to land a principal job in Austin. And then we got an even bigger blessing. And I still remember the call when a friend told us of a young woman looking for a loving family to adopt her unborn daughter. And I still cherish the photo of Greg holding our little newborn Audrey. Because after the nurses, it was Greg. He was the first one to hold our daughter. And with this new challenge, I saw his heart grow even more tender. And it was also very nice having a diaper changer in the family with his strong work ethic. You know what I mean? So, of course, Audrey changed us like a child changes parents. And I think being a father made Greg work even harder to defend children when he became Attorney General. And let me tell you, Texas is the wrong place to be if you're going to hurt a child or abandon your family when Greg Abbott is on the job. It's been a real honor to watch Greg defend Texas like he does, and I think Barack Obama will have his hands full when Greg is our next governor. Now, I'm voting for Greg because I know him better than anybody else. We've been married for 33 years, fighting through adversity and raising a daughter together. That honest, hard-working guy that you've appreciated as your Attorney General, he's the same guy at home. I've loved him from the moment I set eyes on him. But watching him mature as a man through incredible trial and into fatherhood has made me love and trust him even more. He is the most honest, the most principled, the most dedicated man I've ever known. And I'm still as shy as I was when Greg first ran for judge, but I don't hesitate to ask people to vote for him. There is a real urgency, and we must all stand together to keep Texas red, to keep Texas great. You know, I love to read all of those wonderful stories when they show Greg ahead in the polls. I think we have the support there, but we need to make sure that people go out and vote. And I hope that you consider going and early voting and taking a couple of people with you to make sure that they do so. I'm just worried about complacency, and I think we've got the love and support there. We just need to do this, not just for Greg to win, but for all those who are running on the ballot, all the Republicans on the ballot. And I really appreciate all that you do. I've been very impressed talking with all the women, the Republican women throughout the state. It's impressive. We could not do this without you, and I thank you so much. God bless you. God bless your family. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mrs. Abbott. She has requested that if anybody has any questions, if you will just hold those until the end of the program. She has graciously accepted staying and visiting with everyone once the meeting is over, so thank you. Thank you. Martha.
Yes.
Martha would like to say a few words. There's a shocker. She needs no introduction.
Well, Mrs. Abbott, it's an honor for you to be here. All of you know that I am from Sweden. By now, you understand my accent. So, anyway, when I came from Sweden, from Mexico, I didn't know any English. So, I came at the time of Watergate. So, my English started by watching Watergate. I don't know what the heck they were saying, but I was, writing things the way they sound to me. Later on, I learned how to read in English. And then, from the country that I come, for 75 years, they told you how to vote, even though it was two parties. But if you didn't vote for that party, oh my God, you was dead, literally dead. So I started asking my husband, about the grace of God, I marry a gringo, I'm sorry about all that. What is this Democrat and this Republican? What is that? So little by little he explained me. Then when I started observing schools, I couldn't believe that the schools, they give breakfast free and lunch to the kids. I never saw that in Mexico. If you're hungry, it's too bad. I'm sorry. If the kids don't have no shoes, the schools provide everything. So what a contrast for where I come from. So when I started reading about the Democrats, what they stand on, what they believe, then I went to the other book, that is the Republicans. And wow. Until this day, I cried when I read that book. When they told me what it is to be a Republican. And I told my husband, when I start being involved in politics, I will be a Republican. Because what they stand is what I bring from my family. And my family, not being Swedish, they believe their way just like Republicans. So, right now, we're going to elect Greg Abbott. We are. Remember, next time that we have a meeting, he means our governor and our Texas. So, like Ms. Abbott said, we need your help. Right now, the news tell you that he's ahead. BS. Don't believe that. You go and vote, even if he's ahead. Tell your family, your friends, your neighbors, everybody. Tell them that they had to vote, and they had to vote straight ticket. Because we want every Republican